Hi, I'm Riley, and today I'm going to be talking specifically about how we sort of differentiate ourselves and how we live as multiple people in the world. If you're interested in how we come out to people and sort of like, the whole setup for this video, there's a part one, and I want to say it's going to be in this corner, but it might be in this corner. I don't know. So, the first thing we do, and probably the main thing we do, is I think a little obvious if you look at me and you've seen Crow. We have our own clothing and accessories, and we dress and look, well, however we want to. We often have our own ways of doing makeup. Not all of us wear makeup, but for example, I always do raccoon liner because I'm emo, SEMO, etc. I'm usually wearing way more candy, but I didn't want to get up to put some on. Um, And, I have this jacket. I decorated it myself. This is from an event. Basically, if I'm dressed how I want to be, you can always tell that the outfit is mine. Depending on how different your styles are, this could either be a lot easier or a lot harder. It also depends on how strongly you commit to a style right now. I do want to say that for pretty much every single tip here to like live more as differentiated people, um, like in the physical world, the best possible cover you can have for any of this shit is getting into cosplay or pretending you're getting into cosplay, doing OC cosplays of your headmates. Like, I promise you, that is the easiest to get under the radar if you can do it. It gives you an excuse to wear things that aren't really in your style. You can play a lot of things off as role play or like system journals as writing about your OCs. You might need to like use a little bit of code in the journal to make it seem more like it's fictional, but like you can definitely do that, and it does work. Most of the art of me when I first showed up, because we just like drawing ourselves, was under the guise of being the host at the time's OC. So, The second is just generally having our own hobbies. And they don't need to be like big, distinct hobbies. The different hobbies can be like one of you collects rocks and one of you collects sticks. Like it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be super different. Just having a thing that you usually do as an individual is really good. Like for me, obviously making candy and putting beads and shit on stuff is sort of my thing. Now it's also the rainbow loom, which Crow uses too, but it's still mostly mine. For Crow's most individual hobbies like foraging plants. The writer's is writing, as the name suggests. We have things that we do. And with those things, it's like, you could just say it's a hobby. Um, it doesn't have to be super overtly plural. And it kind of gives you like, there's like a tangible thing of you in your life. There's a physical thing you can do to feel like and be yourself, and that's important if that's something like you want. Obviously, not everyone needs to have that. Like, not all systems are multiple systems that are like that interested in being distinguished, but if you are, that's really helpful. Another thing is making your own friends. This is easy if you're okay being out as plural in some online space. We'll just like join servers for different ones of our interests and have one of us be the primary person talking there, just so we can interact with people as like our own person, and avoid people like kind of assuming we're like our other headmates, because then their only impression is of us specifically. Another good one that depends on how, I guess, how blatant you're willing to be, is by calling yourself gender fluid and changing your pronouns with fronters. You can even go so far as just having it be like you use different names as different genders. This is a valid way to be gender fluid, to be clear. Um, like you don't have to be plural to be gender fluid like that, but if you feel like that could be perceived as a singlet thing, and you really want the ability to use your own names and pronouns all the time, that's great for that. These are all currently like more closeted tips because we know most people can't actually be out like we can where they live and with people they know. Either they can't because they don't want to, because their system isn't comfortable, because of their environment, whatever. Another thing that works pretty well is having your own small personal possessions. For a while, this would be things like one person owns one pin button or one bracelet or one really shiny coin. We had a little like box of tiny drawers that we painted to like correspond to different headmates. That especially works well for larger systems where you can't really be having clothing for everyone in your system, but like you want something. It's the same thing with the hobbies, like just having an anchor in the physical world, you know? Then two more for the closeted list. Making Picrews or avatar makers of yourself. Picrew is a website of a bunch of like online paper doll makers. And there's a ton of ones that you can like make yourself. And the personal best one we found is probably Bright's Picrew Hell. Um, there's also another one, but I can't remember the name. I'll put that up here too. The last one is making yourselves playlists. Figure out what music you like. Pick songs that you think match your sort of vibes. They're very useful if you rely on triggers to front. Um, they're cool. And then, of course, if you use Discord, setting up Pluralkit and Tupperbot, honestly, even if you don't plan to use them, can be good. If you don't plan to use them, I just would not add proxies, as in like the tags that let you send messages. Um, but also using them is nice. You can also make a private server for your system if you want to. If you're able and want to be more openly plural, we also have some things we like to do for that, but obviously not everyone can or feels like it. For us, one of the things we plan to do is giving people sections of our bedroom to do what they want with. Our bedroom is not it's not small, but we need a lot of things in very specific places in our bedroom for like disability reasons. And we also have a lot of hobbies and artistic endeavors that take a lot of space. So for us, this is mostly going to be decorating sections of walls however you want, or a dedicated shelf. But still, it's like nice to have having specific articles of clothing that are like really overtly belonging to us, as in like sometimes they'll have our names on them, or like this sweater where it's like no one will not know that it's Riley. Another thing that can work is wearing front indicators so that other people in your life, this can be with small groups, it can be subtle front indicators or big ones, and we'll leave a link to a ring system video on it here. And then in a couple of seconds, once we put out a video on it, that video will also be linked here. Again, I hope. If it's on the other side, then I don't know, fuck me. And it's nerve wracking, but if you plan to have front indicators that you want other people to use, I would try to insist that people check for them or ask. Um, it is nerve wracking, but if you don't, you are not giving people a chance to do better. This stuff isn't like instinct for people, and you are currently the expert over everyone you know. So, give them a shot if you can. We also like going out to specific places as ourself. Sometimes we'll just like have one of us who usually goes into a certain shop and just like introduces ourselves by our name and never mentions being plural. It's to people we don't really know, but who might start recognizing us as different people. Um, and that's just kind of fun, honestly. It's just kind of nice to just go in and just be like, hi, I'm another guy. If you have any questions or any ways that you particularly like to kind of distinguish yourselves or, just kind of like exist as more separate people, feel free to drop it in the comment section down below. You can ask questions, of course. Here we see Riley trying to remember something. What Riley's trying to remember is that we now have a Discord server, and Riley was supposed to advertise it in this part of the video. Check the description for the link. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. And there will be a part 3 if I fucked up, so I don't know. We're going to start trying to upload on Fridays more consistently, so keep an eye out for that. This has been Riley. Thanks for watching. I don't know, like, comment, subscribe, play Among Us. We need more people to start playing Among Us again, and not to like troll, just to like enjoy Among Us.